Hello everybody. My name's Damien Haylor, and I'm MD of Popcoms, and I'm joined today by our lovely client Dan from Wienerberger, and we also have
the head of customer experience here at Popcoms. My name is Stuart.
And the idea of today is just to talk to Dan about his experiences of moving Wienerberger into sort of digital sales tools, and just get his perspective on sort of the challenges and where they are now. So Dan, I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and Wienerberger as a bit of a scene setter. That would be great.
Thanks, Damien, and thanks guys for having me. It's nice to be here from my son's bedroom. I mean, my background, I've worked in marketing basically from university, but always actually strangely in the construction industry. So I have a lot of experience in marketing in construction products and the construction trade. And regards the use of Showpad and sales enablement platforms, I've actually used Showpad in my last two companies, it's been a great tool for us. So Wienerberger, we're a global supplier of building materials and infrastructure solutions, founded in Austria over 200 years ago. So it's been going a significant period of time. Today we have over 200 production sites in over 30 countries. And in the UK specifically, which is the area of the business that I work in, we are a leader of brick, roof and facade products in the construction sector. So that's a little bit of background to us.
And in terms of kind of challenges that you face, from a sales and marketing point of view, could you just maybe go into those briefly?
Yeah, sure. So we share the typical challenges that any organisation faces and any marketing team or sales team has. So we have that ongoing battle of improved communication. Like I said, we're a global business. Our customers are kind of far-reaching, so communications both internally and externally are always something we're striving to improve. However, our market does have some unique challenges where the buyer journey is very complex. We're not a B2C business where we kind of have a direct route into our customers. Our customer base can be, a large multinational merchant or a large multinational house builder, or it can be, your builder or roofer that's in the trade. So there's quite a few levels in between that as well. So it is quite a complex journey, and that creates its own problems, certainly in terms of demonstrating return on investment in the marketing that we do, and obviously the communication, that it can get diluted quite a lot as it goes through those channels. So in terms of our sales teams as well, they deal with a variety of stakeholders who all have different needs, just like us trying to communicate with them. They also have those problems as well. And that means that finding the right assets, the right tools, can become time consuming. We as a marketing team, we produce those, but it can become time consuming for the sales teams to kind of find what they need. And, with that, our messaging can become inconsistent and diluted as well. So that's kind of the main struggle that we have as a marketing and as a sales department as well.
So then if we were to flip that on its head, looking, forward at, your future sales tools, what were you kind of looking to achieve with those sales tools?
So as I mentioned before, I'd worked with Showpad at a previous company and other sales enablement tools. And that's was always looking to improve that synergy with sales and marketing. Whilst allowing me to better measure our marketing performance and as a team continually improve in everything that we do. So when I joined Wienerberger, just probably over a year ago now, funnily enough, Showpad was already being being used in other countries in our group, and we just started to think about using it in the UK. But when I came on board, I said, yeah, this is a great tool. It's something that we could really do with. So we brought it on board for the UK, and it was a natural progression. But luckily, the things that I'd learned from using it at a previous company, I could bring that experience to using it at Wienerberger. And with the size of our business and the sales teams that we have, a significant number of sales guys all working across different sectors of the market, I wanted to ensure that Showpad was able to serve a number of different functions that would suit the needs of all our team and help marketing strategy, support the sales requirements, and be also responsive to the changing priorities that can happen with different teams and different changes in the economy. And obviously, with COVID-19 now, it's really going to hopefully prove to be a real benefit to us.
Can I just ask, so prior to Wienerberger moving on to Showpad and creating sort of digital experiences, what were the sales teams using up to that point?
So we have, being a global business, we also a global business that is really pushing forward with digitization and digital tools. So we're, in terms of where we're at in the market, we're kind of at the forefront pushing new technologies. But what that has meant in the past is that we've always had kind of a solution that's had to fit the globe, and with that things can become a bit complex to navigate. So we've got like a central global portal that holds all of our kind of data sheets and case studies and images, but it has to be in a certain format because everyone across the world in different countries, different languages, has to be able to access it. So that has just meant to things being filed under strange names and things that aren't necessarily suited to country by country. So that led to a lot of confusion, certainly in the UK, as to, is this the right thing? Can I use it? Is it not? When I type in a certain type of brick, is that the brick? When I type it in, it might not find it because it's been filed under a European name instead of a UK name. So we had a central point that we still kind of use today, but it wasn't suitable for quick responsiveness from our sales team. So
I think we met last year at last year's physical Transform event. And I think the first step in our process and our discussion, was to start a workshop with, the key sales team, key stakeholders. How important is it for you to involve everyone in moving it forward? You say it's very complicated, big global teams. How important is it to get that buy-in from the sales team and all members of the team, and not just push something through?
Yeah, it's probably the most critical thing to Showpad could have the best platform in the world, but if the sales teams that I ultimately help deliver strategy for aren't bought into that process, then you always be trying to push water uphill. It's very difficult to create buy-in if the sales teams aren't kind of involved in that process very early on. And so, like you say, those kind of workshops, helping people understand why it's going to be of a benefit to them, showing them the possibilities. Even now this morning, I had a call with a group of guys that was saying, I'd love to do this and this. Can I do it on Showpad? And what I say to them is I'm not expecting them to be super users, straight out the gate. But if we can help them find a way to do certain things and use the tools that we have at our disposal to do that via Showpad, then I'd love to have that conversation with them, and we've involved them very, very early on and throughout the process.
So in your mind, kind of building consensus within your team is kind of critical to getting that early adoption and that enthusiasm from anybody to kind of get the project over the line and create something that really is of value.
Yeah, it's not, you know, sometimes you know, us marketers can sometimes have these kind of little vanity projects, so to speak, but this is definitely is not one of those. This is something that, you know, if it doesn't deliver true, and you know, all of the people in our business and businesses around the world, they know what problems they have day to day, and they're just looking for solutions to those problems. And so if we built a platform or a tool for them to use that didn't solve a problem that they have, then it could be awesome. But if it's not solving an immediate need that they recognize, then they're not going to use it. So we had to ensure that it solved those key issues that they were having day to day.
And in terms of solving those problems, do you just want to talk through very, you know, from your own perspective, what we helped you build and, you know, the key features of that Showpad app that we've been, you know, developing with you?
Sure. So like you say, we met at last year's Transform conference in London. You know, there was a number of different providers there, and me and a colleague got talking to yourselves. And I guess the reason why we wanted to work with Popcom specifically is again because of the experience I had previously in implementing the solution in another company. One of the things that was probably lacking, and one of the things I learned was, it's great to have the kind of filing system and the accessibility to documents that Showpad provides. But as far as our customers and our sales team are concerned, we wanted to give them a more natural experience to discover our products and discover the projects that we work with, both in the UK and globally, because we're very well known for a lot of our key products, but sometimes they don't know of all the other things that we can provide, some of our service solutions or some of our lesser known products that potentially come from overseas. So it was really key for us to build something with yourselves that could give them a more natural experience and take customers on a journey of discovery rather than just providing them what they ask for or what they know. So what I think we all built together was an interactive application to plug into Showpad that really allowed both our staff and our customers to start to discover Wienerberger products a bit more, and also discover a bit more about the brand in a more natural way, rather than kind of saying, okay, I need an image of this brick in this scenario. What the app that you guys have built has allowed us to say, okay, how do we, I'm talking to a client that wants to build a hospital. You know, what can I show them that applies to that scenario, and what are the other products and projects that relate to that customer's need? And so that's what we've built, and that what can sometimes be lacking in Showpad is that natural discovery of products based on a customer's requirement.
So what you're really saying there is that personalization within that conversation, you know, around the customer in the room is really key, and sort of Showpad and these sort of digital sales tools really help you do that. Yeah.
So I mean, so you can still, obviously, when you're using Showpad in a kind of image or document sense, you can still personalize that message to them, but it doesn't allow the salesperson or the customer to kind of navigate a path that they may not have thought about, or may not have thought the conversation was going to go. So, you know, let's take an architect, for example. He may say, you know, you may be calling him about a specific project, you know, they're working on, let's say a housing development. But that conversation can then go to, okay, yeah, we love these bricks for this housing project, but what about the clay paving for a retail environment? And so what the app that you guys have helped us build allows them to still be able to have that conversation and provide insight and documents and assets for the conversation taking a path that they maybe weren't expecting.
So what you're really saying there is you kind of elevated the story from just kind of product based to really more of a sort of a consultative, more sort of holistic approach in that sense.
For sure. I mean, one of my key focuses with the team and both marketing and sales is, you know, particularly in these times, you know, we're so well known for our products. We have a great market share across all our markets. So where we're really going to elevate is that service and providing something that is, like you say, a consultation approach, a problem-solving approach, rather than here's our brick, this is what it looks like, this is what it does. You know, we're going to create a real point of difference from being a consultation solution rather than just a product solution.
And I guess sort of that shines more of a light on sort of the value beyond just the product that you're providing, which is obviously everybody wants, you know, to know about the value that they're going to get or that you're going to create for them. Yeah.
So there's you know, talk about our competitors in the spaces that we operate. You know, you could slip a piece of paper between, you know, the differences between us. So where we're going to win is being able to provide quality information quickly and to be able to provide solutions to problems that maybe even the customer hasn't thought about. And the way to do that, you know, our sales teams are, you know, amazing at what they do. They know their customer, they know their products. We just want to be able to provide them with that extra bit of magic dust, whether that be through sales documents or training or videos. Just that extra little bit is just going to make us stand out against our competition. And Showpad and the app that Popcoms have built allows us to do that in a smart way that we can trace.
And obviously we're not face to face today. The world has changed since we last met in January. How do you view kind of Showpad, you know, helping you through this uncertain period? You know, obviously sales teams that used to probably being on the road, going in, talking to customers, now they can't. Is the switch to Showpad really bringing that benefit, you know, to those sales teams who have to work remotely now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we knew, you know, I knew that, and the teams knew that we were moving in that direction. You know, they've all moved to pure tablet working. You know, they all have their iPad Pros. Obviously, they still have desktops, but we're slowly moving them away from that. And like I said, because Wienerberger as a group across the globe are really focused on digitization and making sure that we're at the forefront, you know, in our sector on that. We've already been thinking, you know, about things like remote working, you know, way before COVID-19. So when it did happen, it just kind of elevated where we're already at. You know, we really took it as a chance to really take a kind of a big step forward into an area where, you know, people might not have been comfortable operating in. You know, now that they know, and like I said, with meetings that we even had today, their keenness to take advantage of the assets they have available has just been elevated by the situation.
So Dan, you've already started this journey of taking Showpad to the next level. To anyone else that's kind of going, you know, thinking about going through that process, what kind of advice would you give to them? What pitfalls should they avoid, really?
Sure. So, I mean, I definitely advise, you know, looking for both partners, whether that be with Showpad, who obviously operate the major platform, or other partners like yourselves who kind of plug into that environment and also provide slightly different experiences and also elevated experiences within Showpad. I'd always say, you know, look for someone that's experienced in working with companies that are looking to take that journey, and that can provide real collaborative insight. That's really important. I mean, we had a really good session with all of our teams, kind of getting to understand, both you understand our business, but us understanding what you guys were capable of. And also we went through a process of, there was some trial and error in there. Obviously the difficulty of COVID-19, having to, trust each other to deliver. Both me deliver the things that you needed, and you to kind of build on that. So, finding a trusted partner that has experience is probably the number one thing for me. And then kind of pitfalls to avoid. You've got to bring the sales teams with you, the people that are going to be ultimately going to be using it. And just think about, when I'm pitching Showpad, is it solving an issue we have today? And if it's not solving the issue, that's either going to be something that you can adapt in terms of maybe adding training modules or things like that, or like I've done with you guys, if it's something that we needed to enhance, then find a partner that can provide that with knowledge of Showpad, because that's going to be super important, that you're not just hiring a creative agency that don't have that experience in working with Showpad, because that will just increase the cost, increase the time. Showpad is a very friendly platform, but having that experience of working with it, will kind of pay you back in both in time and cost.
And from a slightly sort of selfish point of view, because you probably work with other sort of agencies and partners, I mean, do you think, or do you see a difference between those agencies that are maybe sort of branding specialists or marketing? Do you think it's important to work with an agency that really understands sort of sales and what sales teams, they're the ones at the coalface talking to customers using these tools? Is that kind of experience important, do you think, or what's your sort of?
It is important. I mean, I would say, understanding the platform and just generally what is nice to use, right? It's not just the sales team has anything different in terms of how they use an application versus if I gave the iPad to my mum. It's that those issues still exist. So as long as that partner, as you guys have, that you work across not just sales, but in other areas as well. But it's about what makes a nice user experience, because if they get frustrated by using it, like I say, on their tablets, and they can't find what they need and it's not intuitive, then it really doesn't matter, if it comes from a place of great understanding. It's more around, is it nice to use? And I think that's the key. We worked very hard on ensuring the content was there and the goals were achieved. But your experience on, is it nice to interact with? I remember we had a couple of conversations where I was suggesting things and you were saying, you know what, Dan, that's just not going to be nice to use with. And so I hold up my hand and say, yeah, you know what, you're probably right. It may have
diplomatic way, of course.
Yeah, no, it's like anything. I had, speaking from a marketing and a sales perspective, I had some boxes that I thought I needed to tick, and the way that I maybe suggested that we go about ticking those just wouldn't have been user friendly. So your experience in that area was super helpful.
So in terms of the experiences that we've been working on together, and where you're going as a business, I mean, I suppose, what does the future hold in sort of the short to medium term for you in terms of your sort of digital transformation and your journey towards digital experiences?
Sure. So with COVID-19, I mean, obviously that's thrown up some different issues. However, you know, all the things that we work with, all the things that we build, and also as a marketing team, you know, we're never thinking that we've got it all sorted and we kind of, you know, dust our hands and kind of move on. This will be a continual process of improvement, really. You know, sales teams, you know, very demanding. Their needs change regularly. One of the things that we did do with Showpad in particular, we got their buy-in up front, we got their input. However, you know, as we've built the application, as we've built out Showpad, there's always things that we can do better, always things that we can change. So you know, if we tried to do that and please everyone, we'd never get to the end of the project. So what we are doing is now that we've finished the first phase, we'll be probably working with you guys in 2021 to see how they've used it for 6 months, see what areas we can improve on. Because, you know, it's never going to stand still. The thing about Showpad, one of the key things, and if I was to give any kind of tips going forward, is that you've got to keep it relevant. You've got to keep it up to date. You've got to keep adding new things, new features. You know, the minute it starts to become, you know, a folder sitting on the desktop that no one goes into, the minute it becomes that, then, you know, your usage and your benefit starts to decrease quite rapidly. So we've always got to ensure that it's the most up to date. We've always got to ensure that we're constantly adding new features, new elements to it to help the guys in the changing environment. So that's what we're going to be doing in the coming years. Short to medium term is just continually improving, continually reviewing, making sure that we're really maximizing our investment in the platform.
So yeah, Dan, that's been really insightful and some very useful information, certainly for companies, I think, that's starting on that journey. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Dan Cheung. I hope that was a good use to you guys.